Yeah.
The rowdy city.
Alright, we'll call this meeting to order in a little after 10. I'll show you out here, so we'll go ahead and call it to order. Mayor Johnson, would you lead us in prayers?
Dear one, pray with me. Heavenly Father, let's thank you this day. Thank you for the opportunity to come this way and the safety of our travels. Let us ask that we lead and guide our counties as we do in this organization. In these names we pray. Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you may be seated. Here's our roll call this year.
Greg Mitchell, Stan Hollingsworth,
Here.
Dale Reagan, Luke Hollins, Alan Foster,
Here.
R.J. Crawford, Matt Adcock, Josh Miller,
Here.
Jimmy Johnson, Martin Stowers, Jim Morgan,
Here.
Lloyd Williams, Steve Jones,
Here.
Tony Day,
Here.
Stephen Barlow,
Here.
Lori Burnett,
Here.
Stephen Milbury, Sam Gibson, Randy Porter, Lauren Wheaton, Jeff Mason,
Here.
John Potts, David Sullivan, Elisa Farmer,
Here.
Terry Bell,
Here.
Rao Chastain, Denny Robinson,
Here.
Jerry Lowry,
Here.
Alejandra Seneris Conahan, Representative Cameron Sexton, Senator Paul Baker.
Quorum. All right. First item vote is the approval of the consent agenda. You have some meetings and statutory going there. I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion approved, Mayor Robinson.
Second.
Second, Mayor Barlow. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any questions, discussion on the consent item? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Item number 4 is our financial report.
So the report that you have in your packet is due April 30th. If you look at our revenues, we are a little over $8.1 million, and our total expenditures at $8.6 million, which results in program match a little over $500. We have our program matching revenues on the right side of the page of $641,000. Non-grant related expenditures of $79,000. So through the end of April, we have a net revenue over expenditures of $56,920. Anybody have any questions?
Questions on the financial report?
Motion to approve.
Approved, Mayor Jones.
Second.
Second, Mayor Day. All right, motion and second to approve the financial report. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hinchey. All right, number 5 is the CAIC loans, Jackson Kayak.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. Farley. We have one loan for your consideration today for Jackson Kayak. Jackson Kayak is an elite manufacturer of high-quality whitewater fishing kayaks. They were founded in 2003 in Sparta. In addition, they also offer contract manufacturing services to a variety of companies and industries. And they recently acquired Warner paddles and Eddy Line kayaks. One thing I would like to note is that one of the production locations of Eddy Line was in Mexico, and that production has been brought back to the States and is now in Sparta. Their total project is $643,600. The request for UCDD is for a loan of $200,000 at a proposed rate of 7.5% for 10 years, giving them an estimated monthly payment of $2,374.04. $488,100 of that will be used for the oven purchase, $155,500 for the preparation, delivery, and installation, for the total project amount $643,600. In addition to our loan request, they also submitted a request to the White County IDB for $200,000 at 4% for 10 years, and there will be an owner contribution of $243,600. The borrower contribution includes $97,620 they already paid toward the required deposit, which is 40% of the oven cost. we will execute an interlocal agreement with White County IDD, and file a UCC lien on our collateral. The IDD has already approved their loan, and the loan committee recommended this loan for approval on June 9th. Are there any questions? And this does have the potential to add 10 jobs, for their CFO. They currently employ 140 people, and this could add 10 more.
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I have a motion, Mayor Robinson to approve.
Second.
Second, Josh Miller. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this loan. Any questions or discussions? All right, Ms. Money, we'll roll call it, please, Sherry.
Stan Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Alan Foster,
Yes.
Josh Miller,
Yes.
Jim Morgan,
Yeah.
Steve Jones,
Yes.
Tony Day,
Yes.
Stephen Barlow,
Yes.
Lori Burnett,
Yes.
Jeff Mason,
Yes.
Elisa Farmer,
Yes.
Terry Bell,
Yes.
Dee Robinson,
Aye.
Jerry Lowry.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Next is our action items. You have our 2025-26 work plan and performance evaluations for Director Clark and Ms. Stout. Any questions or discussions on those action items? You got anything to add, Mark?
No, the work plan is what we, have to give to the state, and what we've worked on, or plan to work on for this next year for our state appropriation. And I'll give one quick note, since our last board meeting, the governor was very gracious, and they upped our state appropriation. We went from $230,000 up to $360,000. So we did receive an increase from the state.
Any questions or discussions on that, or on that? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the action items.
Move.
Motion, Mayor Barlow.
Second.
Second, Mayor Bell. All right, a motion and a second to approve the action items. Any questions or discussions on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Action items are approved. Item number 7, party report.
Okay, I want us to take a few minutes, and I know several of you have to get out of here by 11, so I'll try and go as quick as I can. The spreadsheet that you have there that has the 14 counties and then some data there, the ARC data. You know, we're starting through our summer strategy meeting. We've been handing out this information county by county, so some of you have already received yours for this year, and the rest of you, you can get ready. You're gonna get yours when we get to your county later on this summer. I did a little breakdown. I want us to take a look at where we're at as a region. You know, from time to time, you've got to step back and evaluate how we're doing. And you look at our counties across the board, we're a little disturbed. We had 2 counties that dropped back into the distress categories, that being Pickett and Clay. You know, there's reasons why when you dig into data, especially in Pickett County, you look back at, they had a major manufacturing operation up there that has drastically scaled back, and of course, Pickett County being the smallest county population size in the state of Tennessee, that really affected their numbers as well. You can sort of see where you fall in the metrics right there. If you're at risk, transitional, we do have Smith County that ain't just because he's chairman, and I know we've talked about this before. Smith County is our highest rated county. According to the ARC data, if you look, there's 3,113 counties across the United States. Smith County is the only county that's in the top 50%. Everybody else is in that bottom 50%. And for those that may be new, if you're considered distressed, that means you're in the bottom 10% across the United States. A few things, and I'm going to tie, and Megan Spurgeon, maybe come on up here so you'll be ready. I want us to look at the data, and I know you've heard me go through this before, and I may sound like a broken record. There's 3 major things that they look at: the three-year average unemployment rate, the per capita market income, and that's what that is how much money people in your county earns on average from a job. It's paychecks. It takes out all social service programs, all retirement, everything like that. That is the average wage.
That's what I was going
for your county, yes. So you can see what that number is for 2023. Pickett County being 25,582, and actually, let's see it. Yeah, Smith County is the highest at 37,923. You can see how that compares to the state average of 57,000 across the state of Tennessee. The other number that's out there is the poverty rate. And that's what's getting, let's be honest, you go back 15, 20 years ago, we all said 7% unemployment was basic full employment. Everybody that wanted a job had a job. We're down at half of that number now. It's gonna be near impossible to continue to drop that unemployment rate. So if we're gonna move up the ladder and get up in that 50% range, or that top 50%, the number we gotta tackle is poverty. That's what's holding us back. You can see, Pickett County, almost 26% of their population is living in poverty. Clay County, almost 22%. And you can see what your county rate is as well there. And then that ranking is where you rank in the 3,113 counties. And they're ranked from worst to best right there. There's another number that I talk about all the time. It's not included. I didn't put it on this spreadsheet. I wish I had after the fact. That ties to that is the workforce participation rate. The key, what we've got to do, every one of you have a workforce that's sitting on the sidelines, that's not actively in the workplace. We've got to figure out how to get them back in the workplace. It may be they're dealing with substance abuse issues. It may be that they're dealing with the benefit cliff that holds people down in poverty. Whatever it may be, we've got to work through that. Now, that may sound a little depressing, and I don't want to be depressing. I've got some great news for you. And I've asked Megan to come here. A couple of years ago, we started in our Upper Cumberland. Let me be very clear. I hope everybody here listens to what I say. Everything we're going to talk about here for the next 5 minutes, I'm not bragging on Upper Cumberland Development District. I'm not bragging on Upper Cumberland Human Resource Agency. This is a true collaboration between Tennessee Tech, Kugel Regional Hospitals Foundation, Highlands Economic Partnership, Workforce Connections, our workforce board, WCTE, Upper Cumberland Development District, all of us working together, weaving our programs together with a shared goal of taking approximately 700 families, it's a research project, and trying to see what we can do to move these families out of poverty. Hopefully we learn lessons then we can implement across all 14 counties. Are y'all ready for it? Because I'm gonna tell you what, you're gonna think she's lying. But this has been documented.
We
it's
trust her.
verified. You trust her?
Her.
Megan, give the highlight numbers on what we've done. This is roughly 10% of the population of that 700 families we've been working with, and they're the ones that's graduating out.
Alright, well, when we launched Empower Upper Cumberland, we set an ambitious internal goal to help families reach 225% of the federal poverty level. So that was where we thought that we could get them where they would be on a path to long-term sustainability past all the benefits cliff. Today, I'm proud to say that we have helped 68 families, including 180 children, reach that goal. On average, these families...
Hold on a second, let me stop you. I'm sorry. What she's talking about when we say 225%, we're not just moving them out of poverty. They're, for a family of 4, that poverty rate number is where the what?
Now, family of 4 poverty rate levels, 24,000. So where we're trying to get it to is 50,000.
Yeah, we're not saying we're gonna give them $1 more just to get them out of poverty. What we want to do is get them stabilized to where they're not only able to pay their bills, they're able to put back money and save money, and they're able to have the same quality of life that everyone that's around this table get to enjoy.
Yes.
I'd fair to say everyone that's around this table have a good quality of life. That's what we're trying to get with these families. So it's not just getting them $1 more to get them technically out of poverty. We're moving them basically over 2 times what it means.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry to interrupt.
Not at all. I try not to stay away from the federal poverty level because no one really understands it like we do as much. It's not a fun number. But one number that is easy to understand is we have doubled the household income on average of these 68 families from $34,000 a year to $69,000 a year. And I do want to say, I said we have doubled their number. They have doubled their number. We just walked alongside it while that's happening. So we have assisted those families $2.4 additional million of earned income hitting each of your counties. That is just of those 68 families, not of the other families that we've assisted. I do want to share some additional data points with you all, but again, this team that we have, both all the partners that Mr. Farley has mentioned, the navigators working with families right on down the line are the ones that really deserve that credit. A couple more statistics on these 68 families specifically. Almost every county in this region has had at least one family be a part of that 68. So this isn't a Putnam County thing, and actually, it's more the outlying counties that are seeing the impact in this than Putnam County. The counties with the greatest income gains are Macon County, with an average of $46,000 in increase, Clay County with an average of $43,000 average increase, and Ventress and DeKalb County showing an average of $41,000 household income increase. We are seeing consistent economic mobility. Families have moved from, on average, at 132% of the federal poverty level to 262% of the federal poverty level. So that's a 130% increase on that FPL, moving them up one full classification. We have seen increased ranges from these families from anywhere from $4,200 for the median for their household income to $103,000. So it's not just people who are almost there.
You say that again?
Yes. We have income increases ranging from $4,200 to $103,000.
I thought you said.
How many, is it six? How many families?
8% of these families are now six-figure income earners. We have 6 families that earn now over $100,000.
2 years ago, they were.
21 of these families now earn over $75,000 a year. Almost half of these families now exceed Tennessee's median household income of $67,000 per year. And 45 families now exceed the Upper Cumberland's median household income of $55,000 a year.
And the cumulative effect, if you start thinking about it, that's what we're trying, and the reason we got into this, we're trying to calculate our return on investment of really what's happening. Those are 10% of 68 families there. They're no longer on social benefits. They're no longer, free and reduced lunch for the kids. They're, hopefully transitioning off teen care into normal health insurance. I mean, you think about the stabilization that's going on in these families. And the other thing, they're just the first 68. We've got another 25 that's in the pipeline, hopefully in the near future, that's going to transition out of the program as well, because they hit their numbers. And we're starting to see all families are moving. Now keep in mind, not all of them move at the same speed. It's like everybody else. You know, they move at their pace, what they're comfortable with. So some are moving faster than others, but they're all moving in the right direction. Any other things you want to throw out there? So I say all that to say this. This was a pilot program, and I'm gonna need your help. You know, we're 2.5 years in. We've got till October of 26 to get everything finalized, and hopefully to encourage the state to figure out how to continue this program on. This program has potential of snowballing and continue to improve, and it's gonna tackle that poverty rate number. Every one of those that we can tick down on poverty rate, increase the workforce participation rate, increase that household income, that's gonna improve your numbers and move us up that ladder so everybody's out of distress, everybody's out of that risk, and we're all moving up as a community. So just wanna share that, but we need you on board. There's gonna be a time in the near future, I'm probably gonna need y'all to go and support us at the General Assembly and possibly with some of the state offices to say what we're doing is working, and we need help to continue on. So,
Can you get us all this
Yeah,
broken down into some nice, neat package of statistics? And you know, you've got a group of us that'll go and advocate for these things. I don't wanna take up time, everybody got to leave, but I wanna say thank you to the ones.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of discussion about this program by this board before it started. And I think one of the things that we made clear is that we wanted you to help people that wanted to be helped.
Yes.
Not just another program for a handout or something like that. We wanted people that wanted to move, and from the whole thing I've seen, I think y'all have done an outstanding job on that. I'm not one that likes a program just to have a program going. This is not one of those. It's different, and I appreciate what y'all have done.
I appreciate that. We do have thoughts on where we go from here. We're learning some valuable lessons. Early, it's like everything, is early intervention. A lot of our families are single moms raising kids. Our key is to get to them as early as possible. Those that we're able to touch that's on their first child, so it's a single mom and one child, we can move a whole lot faster and a whole lot easier than the one that has 3 and 4 children. So we've got to figure out how to get early intervention for these.
And maybe a
single moms.
discussion for a different day, but I'd be interested in making sure these people are living in their own home,
Yeah.
that they own. We've got an issue with that, and it's the same group of people that I think probably this whole board, I don't want to speak for you, but we want to help those that want to do something and want to move forward. And there's lots of partnerships that can continue on with that, and that's one of the things we're working on in Cumberland County.
I appreciate that.
I know I should know this, but we're not doing the placebo anymore, right? That's what we did.
Yes, we have a control group,
You
yeah.
have
Six
the control
families
group.
left in that group, then they'll be out of that group by the end of this month.
That's not even offered anymore. You've got enough data now.
Yes.
Correct, and to that point, the research will come out 2 years after this program wraps up. So that's when they're going to be able to start implementing the changes and say what's worked. But in that time, to lose that momentum, to take this program, put it in place, and then for it to go away until they find the research out, is what we're trying to avoid happening.
This is truly what we intended to do. I mean, y'all have done a tremendous job, and we think that, the government gets beat up a lot of times for programs that don't work and not being able, this is something that's measured, and we're seeing results, which is good, and we laughed, we started this at a lunch conversation at Chitter's one day when I told him, when he was talking about something, and I said, well, I need you to figure out a way to, so people don't take handouts anymore and get my people back to work, and, I'm not saying that was my idea, but I appreciate what y'all have done and being a small part of it. Something we can hang our hat on, so we made a difference, and that's what we're doing, is make a difference in people's lives, and y'all have done a tremendous job.
And to that point, Mayor Mason, we have on average provided these families $2,500 or less in their pocket, that's it. We have not been giving them money after money. In 2 years, $2,500 on average a piece. It's the person that's in their life working with them that's making the difference, not a check that they're getting from us.
Well, it was eye-opening for me that one of the first meetings I sit on was you guys actually, what you guys were teaching these people that, and I'm not to brag, but, most of us grew up in families that their mamas and daddies taught us those things, how to balance a checkbook, how to get credit, how to work, and that blew my mind to start with, and so, y'all, again, I can't say thank you enough for what y'all done, it's tremendous, and like I said, if you say when, we're when and where we need to go to help you sell this, and we're there, because this is scalable, everybody in the state can be doing this. This is a something the federal government, if they want to spend money on stupid stuff, then send some this way, let's do this, I'm sorry. I can't help myself.
All right, Marcy, where's Marcy at? Marcy needs to come up here. We let Tommy Lee go on vacation, and then we're gonna brag when he's not here, so we'll get the deal in, that's all right. We just wanna give it, to this last quarter, and I'm correct, everything we're gonna talk about is pretty much just in the last 3 to 4 months. Sort of update on what's happened on the grants.
I'm gonna apologize in advance, I have bronchitis, so I'm gonna make this short and sweet. But in the 3 months, we submitted 51 grant applications. That brings us to 80 for the year. And these 3 months, it was calendar year, we're just under $35 million. And that is anything from TDOT to 3-star, solid waste. I really just wanna brag on our team, because it's our quiet quarter, we call it, but we don't slow down anymore, so.
They've been going over their numbers. We've had some ups and downs in our grant staff. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna brag right now. they have cranked out probably more grants in the last year than we've ever put out to this agency. So I just wanted to highlight the work, and if you get the opportunity to know each one of you probably has somebody in particular you do a lot of work with, pat them on the back, they're busting their rear ends for you. So I just want to let them brag just a little bit, especially do it when Tommy was here.
Right, I mean, we know that Marcy's the real driving force.
I'm the brains, y'all.
That's,
All right, I'm gonna stop right there. I'll hold my other thing to the HRA.
All right. I got one question, Mark. The numbers on the sheet here, the index value, why are some highlighted or bold, some not? Is there significance to that, or is it just?
The ones that are bolded improved from last year. So, and this happens, I don't know why it is, on average, we'll have 7 counties improved, and we'll usually have 7 counties decreased. And there is one caveat, let me just make it. A lot of these communities that went down, they can still be doing better than they were last year. You gotta keep in mind, there's some other communities that may just be moving faster. So it's not necessarily that if they dropped the number that they've gotten worse, it's just that others have passed them up, so.
So the distressed at risk, is that a range, what is that a?
That's the bottom 10%.
No, it's the bottom.
Yes, that's your breakdown.
That's your breakdown. How do you fit into the
Yeah,
circle?
you can see, let's see if there's an illustration. Usually we'll have somebody that's just right borderline between one of the 2 categories. So you can sort of see
Yeah.
where you fit in that breakdown.
That's,
You may have a question,
The map, I mean, there's so much stuff. Now, I know y'all are in a hurry and I don't want to drag you along. You look at the map, the green, Macon, Smith, and Cannon, they sit right next to the national market. That's what's driving their numbers. Their people are living in Macon, Smith, and Cannon, but they're traveling to Murfreesboro, to Nashville, to Wilson County, and they're getting higher wages that way. Putnam, White, and Cumberland, you got Interstate 40 runs through there. You think every RFI is looking for 5 miles, 6 miles, as close as they can to Interstate 40. That's those driving factors. And the farther you get away from the interstate, Pickett and Clay, that's what you see happen right there. And the reverse happens in Kentucky, because when we've looked at Kentucky's numbers, the farther they away from the interstate, right along the ones that border, the Clay and Pickett, they're the same way. So,
Jeff, I think it's you, I don't think it's me.
appreciate that. Checks in mail. All right, anything else, or questions for Director Carty? All right, if not, we'll move on to our regional partners. This is Mr. Josh Brooks from USDA.
Sir, I'm gonna cede my time to our state director.
All right.
I got the opportunity to meet Patrick James, our new state director, yesterday. We're
That's
thrilled to have you. I didn't realize you were gonna be
Hold
here.
Just a second, I only have a couple minutes, and I appreciate, Mr. Chairman, you, allowing me to say a few words. I am now in week 3, with, USDA Rural Development. I came from rural Tennessee in Washington County. My father was the county mayor for a short term of 18 or 20 years, something along that line. So I got to learn a little bit about rural development at that point. I know what you're going through, and first I want to thank you for what you're doing to serve rural America. I've spent the last 3 weeks trying to get to know some of the staff as quick as I could, and in doing so, be assured we have a group of very professional people. I know a lot of you know Josh and his team. They are committed to helping. So if you have questions, concerns, things you want to do, we want to help where we can. My role is to kind of follow the direction of the president and the secretary. And one thing I've learned is all of these groups, including Senator Blackburn and Haggerty, Congressman's office, they're all working together to support you. And so it's pretty rare, because I came from 18 years with Senator Alexander. I was the state director for him, so I traveled around a lot of areas. Some of the mayors' names look familiar. There's been a few changes since I left in 21, I guess it was. But what we've got is a very, very unique relationship in Tennessee, to where the senators actually get along. The senators want to support you, the congressmen all get along. And so it works out really well, and I think we just need to take advantage of that as you know. Everybody here working together works toward one agenda, and I look forward to working with each of you and coming to as many of these meetings as I possibly can. And Mark's got my phone number, and if you need me, call me, and I look forward to getting to know each of you. In the meantime, call Josh. He knows everything about what's going on. My job is to stay out of the way and let them keep doing what they're doing. They're all professionals and getting it on. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. Now, there's one rule, when you come up here, you're supposed to bring that big check.
Yeah,
That has the
yeah.
$1 million written in, so just
I've got one in the truck, and Josh is gonna fill it in later.
All right, see, Board of County Hire Asher from Workforce and Labor.
Chairman, thank you. Tyler Asher, Tennessee Department of Labor. As we're out doing tours, we want to make sure that you're aware of what help the workforce needs that your industries may need. Our new budget cycle will start in July, just like every other state agency. So our TYP is in full swing, just gets to work on July the 1st. So anything that we can do if you're doing industry visits, or you have an industry that's having some workforce needs, make sure you reach out to us.
Thanks, sir. I know Leo with Congressman Rhodes' office is here. Hiding back there.
Hello, great to be home. Always love going back to the development commission, so thanks for having me. It's been an exciting few weeks in DC. I was in DC last week, but even more exciting is when he gets to be home in Tennessee. So he's in Tennessee this week. I know there's been a lot going on with the Trump administration, so if any of you have questions about federal funding and what certain levels look like for programs to help support your communities, just see me after this and I can answer questions that you may have. But thanks for having me. Reach out anytime if you have questions.
All right, I know Tanner's here from Senator Hagerty's office.
Morning, everybody. Tanner Cox with Senator Bill Haggerty's office. As you guys know, it's reconciliation season. Got the bill over from the House, so we're currently working on that. If you have any feedback of anything that you're hearing from that bill that may or may not affect you, please communicate with our office so that we know what to do in DC and I can communicate it to our team there. But other than that, as always, use our office for grant support letters, casework, anything that you guys have going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanner. All right, Caleb, Mr. Blackford's office.
Yeah, Caleb Haslett, Senator Marshall Blackburn's office. Just kind of want to echo what Tanner said. With everything going on, if you do have concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. For specifics, I can get you connected with someone in our DC office who know a lot more about these specific issues than I would. Any casework, federal related, please reach out for grant support.
All right, Kevin Lane with TDOT.
Yeah, Kevin Lane with TDOT. Really the only update, with the influx of money that we have, we really try to look into our spot safety programs. So if there's anything preemptive, proactive that we can do safety-wise, contact me, you can run through Mark to find my contact information, and we would like to get eyes on that and see if there's anything we can do.
And last but not least, our ACM Director, Mr. Anthony Hope. Glad to have you today.
Glad to be here, Mr. Chairman. Want to remind everybody of our regional meeting is going to be on July the 24th over in Sparta at the Herman plant. Is that right, Mayor? Correct. It'll be from 11 to 1:30, and our stakeholders are invited to come.
Did I miss anybody, any of our regional partners? All right. Is there any old business? Are there any new business? Thank you, Larry. That was a true Randy Eddie moment right there. Seeing no new business, any public comment? All right, at this time, I will take a motion to adjourn the development district portion of the meeting.
Quick motion.
Steve Thomas. Second on Jay, all right, motion is second, any questions, discussions? If not, all those in favor? All right, we adjourn, we'll go right into the HR. We'll call the Uptown Human Resource Authority Board meeting to order. Ms. Sherry, would you do us a roll call?
Greg Mitchell, Dale Reagan, Alan Foster, Matt Adcock, Josh Miller,
Here.
Jimmy Johnson, Jim Morgan,
Here.
Steve Jones,
Here.
Stephen Barlow,
Here.
Lori Burnett, Stephen Bilbrey, Sam Gibson, Randy Porter, Lauren Wheaton, Jeff Mason,
Here.
John Potts, David Sullivan, Elisa Farmer, Terry Bell, Denny Robinson,
Here.
Jerry Lowry,
Here.
Alejandra Samaras Conahan, Representative Cameron Sexton, Senator Paul Baker.
All right, thank you, Sherry. All right, item number 3, you have the consent agenda in front of you. I will take a motion to approve it. Motion, Josh Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mayor Barlow. I have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Moving forward, Mr. Ginger, you come back up for financial report.
So our UCHRA financial report is also through the end of April. We had revenues of a little over $22.7 million. Our total grant expenditures were $22.8 million. And so we had a program match of $140,954. If you look to the right of the page, you will see our program and slash matching revenues, which total a little over $325,000. Our non-grant related expenditures of $131,000. And so when you back out transportation's portion of the match, because they have their own restricted fund balance, we have an excess of $146,238 in revenue over expenditures through the end of April. Anybody have any questions?
Mayor Jones makes a motion to approve. Motion approved. Okay, you second, Mayor Barlow second, have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Financial report is approved. Item number 5, you got the Green County Head Start report.
For the most part, this is very standard to what we normally do. We've got our financial reports, which talks about our budgets for March and April, our activity report, and then also the credit card breakdown, all the stuff we need to put in the minutes for our federal partners so that they're assured that y'all are seeing and looking at these reports. The only other thing we've got, 2 issues. They want to sell one of their school buses. That's a 2011 Thomas Minnow Tour school bus. You need to give permission for that, and then Head Start will have to give permission as well. And then the last thing is we just got a carryover issue. We're working on HVAC, and you can see that usually with the federal government, they require quite a bit of paperwork to carry over funds from one calendar year to the next. So there's 4 items there, all just related to moving that money from last year's budget to this year's budget. So that's the Head Start report. Be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from Mark on that? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Motion Mayor Bell, second Mayor Farmer. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is approved. Item number 6, Ms. Linnell, your CSBG update.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. In your packets, you will, in your binder, find the April dashboard for community services, talking about the programs, the emergency programs that we run. Our programs are continuing on. The biggest thing off the dashboard that I wanted to mention is if you have any outreach events in your county that you would like for us to be a part of and we're not aware of, please reach out to your county coordinator, and we'll make sure that we're at those events to talk to folks about all the different programs that we administer. But the big thing that I wanted to mention today is right beside your binder, you're gonna see a conflict of interest form. Thank you, Mayor Mason. We need for you to pause, sign that form right now, and either leave it by your binder or pass that forward. This is something that's required by the Community Services Block Grant, and each year at this meeting, we try to get all conflict of interest forms. Does anyone have any questions for me about the dashboard or conflict of interest? Yes.
Did you get all your dates of birth?
No, I got, for the ones that were here, I still have 4. With our child and adult care food program, where we reimburse daycare homes, they require that we get a list of birthdays from our board members. So if we didn't have your birthday, Krista White sent out an email earlier this week requesting those, and then I was just following up, but we still lack about 4, so I'll follow up after the meeting with that. Thank you. All right, thank you guys.
You. All right, item number 7 are your action items. Looks like it's basically the same one we approved on the other. Mark, is there anything to add to that? All right, take a motion to approve the action items. Motion by Mayor Farmer.
Second.
Second by Mayor Miller. All right, I have a motion and second. Any questions, discussions on action items? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? They are approved. All right, Marty?
All right, I got 2 more issues, one I'm gonna knock out, I think it'll be fairly quick. Of course, we've been working opioid abatement funds, we received the program, we'll update that down the road, as it gets more established, it's showing great results as well. In our discussions, one of the things, looking at another round of abatement money coming out, and this is more for our county mayors, our advisors, people that are working with us, helping mentor us and help us try and figure out what needs to happen up here, they're very interested in us doing some type of jail program. First thing I wanted to ask, if you know of any of your county jails, do they have anything going on with opioid money where they're trying to do recovery and those type of services? And if not, is that something you think y'all would be interested in? Cause I'll need your help getting with the sheriffs and whoever in those offices. Is that something that you think your county would be interested in? No.
I've worked and talked to our sheriff and stuff. One of the issues I'm seeing, that maybe you can help overcome, is they're not in jail long enough to complete any kind of program or get anything accomplished. How do you get around that?
I think what they're wanting to look at is instituting, while they are in there, more the medically assisted treatment. And I can't remember all the technical names. I know there is the one shot that, I know y'all have had presentations, because I was in Murfreesboro, that's a few years ago. Vivitrol, stuff like that. I mean, that's what they're interested in, seeing if they can get them started on a fast-acting treatment, and then when they're released from jail, maintaining them and keeping them on that.
We have looked at something like that. It's very expensive. So yeah, some sort of grant.
We would need probably abatement money to try and test it and see how it works. Anybody else?
I think it's worth looking into. It may be, again, it may be cost prohibitive, but it's something to look at.
Well, funding's gonna come out this fall, we don't know the exact dates, we need to start doing some prep work. We don't have to do all 14 counties, it may be that we've got a select group that we wanna start with, but that is an area they wanna try and see. The 2 advisors, I've got 2 doctors that are advising us on this, and they're looking at it from a research standpoint, and this is a population they feel like could get a lot of traction with, so that's the reason why we're bringing that up, so. We will go down that path unless y'all have a reason not to.
I'd be interested in something like a pilot personally to see if it works. 'Cause I think the drug you're talking about is different than the other things. You don't get high with it, but it also doesn't let you become an example of it. So, even if you try, so, I think it's a monthly thing, so.
Marty, you know how long it lasts, like, let's say I get out of jail and I continue with these shots or whatever?
And I'm not an expert.
Because that turns into like a methadone clinic type atmosphere, and a lot of people are against that, so.
Well, the Vivitrol, if I'm correct on it lasts for roughly a month, and it's one of those, if they take anything else, they get violently sick. So it's a true determinant, or detriment.
I agree with what you're saying. I think this was supposed to be different at the mayor's conference, county mayor's conference 2 years ago. We had a presentation that was interesting because it doesn't exacerbate the problem. It creates problems if they use while on that road.
They use the example of a parking lot, that drug goes into, affects your body, this this drug actually parks in that spot, so so the drug's not, if you take it, it makes you sick, you don't get that high effect, was my understanding.
But I think like any program, there's a goal to wean you off of it. I mean, that's what it's going toward now, whereas before it was kind of just a continual process.
Yeah, a replacement.
Replacement drug.
Yeah, this is a very different drug, so I agree, I don't like that.
If there's not an opposition, we will start working and see how that develops. It may develop, it may not, we'll see. That's one area that they really want us to approach y'all to see if that's something, because I probably need your help getting me in the door to meet with the sheriff.
Go back to what he's in pilot, is find that sheriff that would be willing to do the pilot.
I think maybe some kind of a joint presentation or something where, you know, mayors and sheriffs and things could,
Yeah.
to just let us see the differences in what this is compared to something else, because there's a stigma that I think is rightfully earned over a lot of the medically assisted treatments, and this is something that, at least from my initial presentations that I've seen, is quite different.
Yeah. We'll see if we can set something like that up.
Mark,
All right.
we've got, our sheriff has been very active being the joint sessions judge on this and looking at programs, and our sheriff's got a unique program on right now. We've got 12 inmates going to their factory working now. We get $10 a day off of it that goes against their fines. We've collected about $60,000 worth of fines off of it. The inmates are making, I think they're about $30 an hour on an inmate, and they're some of the best labor that the factory says they have. Now, there's a spinoff from that. The community doesn't like it, but they're making good money and working, but,
They don't like it.
Huh?
They don't like it.
Well, the inmates are making more than the correctional officers taking them over there, so. But it's a program that other counties might be more interested in, have your sheriff get with our sheriff and what he's doing there, but it's paying off a lot of fines for us now.
All right. Anything else on that topic before I hit the last one? All right, I'm gonna go as quick as I can. Some of you may have heard, we have administered, Upper Cumberland Human Resource Agency has administered the commodities program. We can't track how far back. We think probably since its creation, probably 40+ years. We've been supplying commodities, and what that is we do a mass distribution of food 2 times every other month, so a total of 6 times in each of the communities across the state. That is funded through the Department of Ag. Department of Ag has traditionally give us roughly $100 and some thousand to hire a couple staff people, and they bag the stuff up, they take it out, and they distribute it on those days. And over the years, it's ended up, we've actually put some money towards that. We actually have to put some of our own money into that program. We were notified a couple weeks ago that the state is ending our relationship of doing commodities, and they're going to work with Second Harvest and the other 3 food banks. Second Harvest covers the majority of our counties except for Van Buren, Cumberland, and Fentress County. You're under a different food bank, but the same thing would apply there. I had a very good conversation with them yesterday. Now, the state has not talked to us very much. All we did was get that letter saying, we're not gonna contract with you anymore, we're going to the food banks. And we've not got any other communication out of them. So we reached out to the food banks. Let me be very clear, and I said this to the policy council a couple of weeks ago. I'm a huge Second Harvest fan. I mean, they do great work. They are in 11 of our 14 counties distributing food. When this change happens, they're not going to be able to add capacity. They are very honest about that. So what we're probably going to see happen is starting October 1st, and I'm not sure which counties would be affected that month of October, there's going to be less food distributed in each one of their communities till they can go out and try and find other groups to partner with them. They reached out to us, but we've lost our funding. I don't have any manpower because I don't have the money to pay those staff anymore. So we can't partner with them. So every community, they're going to have to try and find another group on top of who's working with them now to try and distribute this food. But I think they were very honest yesterday, there's gonna be drop off. I don't know how long, I don't know, they're not sure when they could ever get more volunteer agency. I know we have great nonprofits that are distributed in churches and different things, but, you know, the question is, are there more out there wanting to do that? So, with that being said, we administer that program on behalf of the communities, the counties, the cities and the counties. That's one of those I think you need to be aware of. You need to determine if you want to try and pursue, with the Department of Agriculture, for them to continue on with a relationship with us at least for another year and give a year-long wind down. That's, you know, in talking with Second Harvest yesterday, I told them, I said, I'm gonna start notifying all of our families that we're out into September, and I don't know where to send them to. Of course, they're very hesitant, they don't want a firestorm on their hands. But I'm afraid what has happened, to be quite honest, is you've got new staff at the Department of Agriculture that does not understand how this program works, and they have made decisions that's gonna have some negative effects here in the short-term future, sometime around September and October. So, that's one of those things, if you're concerned about losing the volume of food being distributed, we probably need to have a conversation, or you guys need to back this up, and have a conversation with the Department of Ag and say, we can't let that happen all of a sudden, and.
Can you send us the summary of that email, and
Yeah,
how you
we can do that.
contact,
We can do that.
contact info?
And we'll see if we can arrange a meeting with the commissioner or somebody at the Department of Ag to have that conversation with. Now, let me say this long term. Second Harvest does a fabulous job. They're able to do things that we can't do. They can do fresh, fruits and vegetables. They can do meat. They distribute meat products that we will never be able to do that. So, and I've been honest with Second Harvest, it may be that long term, they're better than us, and we may need to step out, and they need to take over. I don't deny that, because they're giving more and different types of food that we can't do.
At minimum, though, that transition is important.
That's the transition,
Right.
that's
Don't
what
want it to
we're
turn
worried
across
about.
out.
Exactly. So, if it's all right with Chairman, I will start through you, we will draft the letter and send the information, and we'll reach out to the commissioner and see if we can put together a meeting with them. So I think that's.
Have a question.
I have a question
Yes.
before we go any further. The three counties such as Van Buren, it's not under, Second Harvest, would the money go to like a place in Chattanooga to distribute, or?
Yours is a Chattanooga thing. I just don't know about Cumberland and Pinterest, if they're out of Chattanooga or out of Knoxville.
I think we're not.
I've been told there's 4 food banks that serve the whole state of Tennessee, and they have a region divided up. And, Second Harvest does for most of Middle Tennessee, but Van Buren, Cumberland, and Pinterest is right on that border, and you're served out of the other, so. And they're supposed to be sending me information on who your contact will be, we just don't know who it is.
Okay.
Any other questions for the director?
I'm sorry, when did you say that ends, October?
We, October 1st, we will be out of it, we'll no longer distribute commodities unless something
So we
changes.
got some time.
Yeah, we got a little
That's very
time.
quick, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we gotta get started, but in government, there's time.
Yeah.
So I think the group that really bothers me the most is we have a lot of apartment managers that pick up for elderly and disabled that don't drive and can't get out. So they can pick up 50 bags at a time to take back. So that's the group to keep in mind. If you have the vehicles, you know, there's a better chance that you're gonna be able to get that food. But what about the folks, like I said, that are homebound, that apartment managers pick up? So just want y'all to keep that in mind.
Any other questions or discussions on that?
Mark, we got a baby office there, has a lot of baby food that they can't send to their distributors, that they're needing a place. If anyone needs any baby food to deliver out, they'll be back.
That's a shelf-service food.
Yeah.
It has to be refrigerated. That's all he's got, all right? Is there any old business? All right, is there any new business? Are there any public comment? All right, seeing none, I would take a motion to adjourn.